Today we are taking our final road trip in Tasmania from Cradle Mountain to where it all started in Hobart. Along the way we're stopping at some incredible places, epic viewpoints, a waterfall and even the platypus capital of the world. I'm gonna miss these scenic drives, but let's hit the road. Good morning from the beautiful Wilmot. We've just checked out of our accommodation, which we've been staying in for the last 2 days, and it was amazing. So if you've not seen those vlogs, go back and check them out after this one. But we've arrived at our first stop of the day, which is a lookout, and it is the lookout here in Wilmot. So you can see just over there, there is Lake Barrington, and then you've also got Mount Roland there in the background too, which is very close to where we were walking yesterday. And then Cradle Mountain is all the way off to the right over here, but it is a really impressive lookout and I definitely recommend coming to this one. There's loads of information on all of the different mountains too on here, and the lake obviously in front of us. And that lake down there, you can do like water skiing and other cool water activities too, so that might be good fun if you're into your water sports. But now back in the car, on to our next stop. Our next stop is Latrobe, or Latrobe, not 100% sure how you say it, but it is actually known as the platypus capital of the world, with some of the largest platypuses here in Australia. So hopefully we'll go along Mersey River to see whether we can spot any of those. And it is also famous for its Australian Axeman's Hall of Fame. So we're going to go and take a look in there because Australia's rural community are known for their axe and woodwork making. So inside, hopefully we should learn a little bit more about that. So here are just some of the incredible things which you can buy, which have all been made from woods, and they're sold in the store just outside of the museum. So pretty cool little marketplace if you're looking for any woodwork. I don't know if you've ever watched it before, but this is called a cross-cut sawing. It's like a competition. I don't know how often they do the competition, but it's quite cool to watch because it's basically whoever can cut the wood the quickest. And I've seen another one as well where they do competitions where they have to cut it that way until they get it to the point where it actually the top bit falls off of the bottom bit. So it's quite funny learning a little bit about it and how just cutting a little bit of wood can get so popular and become a sport. What's also quite funny is seeing all of the different lumberjacks, I'm guessing is what you call them, that have won the competitions in the past, all from the different states. You've got Queensland, New South Wales, and then Doug Ude, MBE, who's actually from Tasmania, master tree feller and all-round great axeman. That is what he was known as. And there you go, there's all his world titles which he won too. So he's done pretty well, to be fair to him. So this is another one of the examples of the sports they do. So what they've got to try and do is basically cut slits into the log. So you might be able to see that slit there, which they can then fit a wooden plank in, and they have to climb all the way up to the top of the log before cutting off at the top. So again, another really cool sport, and I don't know how it's managed to become a sport, but it's actually really fun to watch. So that was inside the Axe Museum, and it was really cool learning about all of that. But now it's time to head over to Pig Island and the parks. So just across from the Australia Axeman's Museum is Bell's Parade, which is actually a really lovely park, and there is the potential of seeing a platypus around here too. And then this bridge here you can cross, which will take you to Pig Island on the other side, and you can obviously walk around that. It's a lovely bit of parkland area, and like I said before, there are platypuses hopefully all around the river. There is also a nature reserve called the Warrawee Nature Reserve, which is known for its platypuses, and they look after them there. So that's probably the best spot if you want to go and see them, and they're most active really early in the morning at like 8 AM or late in the evening. So definitely go at those sort of times if you're coming to see them. But we're now across onto Pig Island, and I'm not actually sure why it's called Pig Island. There's a little bit of information over here, so I'm going to go take a look at it and see if there are actually any pigs on Pig Island. The real reason why it is called Pig Island is because back when the European settlers first came to Tasmania, they actually used this island to house the pigs. So they sort of used the river around the island as a natural fence to stop the pigs from leaving the island and stop any predators from getting to the pigs. So that is why this was called Pig Island. So it's now got no pigs on it, so unfortunately we're not going to see any of them, but you do often see a small platypus going around the river, and you can do a 30 to 40 minute circuit if you want to around Pig Island. We're just going to do a small little walk around, see if we can spot any platypuses, then head back to the car. So unfortunately we were unable to spot any platypuses in the river. However, I think we were more successful as we got to see a much bigger platypus out of the water. Look at him. So we've now made it to the Warrawee Nature Reserve, and there's loads of different trail paths which you can do, all different difficulties and terrains and distances. So that is a really useful map, to be fair, for the reserve. So we're probably just going to walk along the Shale Road, which is this 1.6k down here, just have a look down the river to see whether we'll get lucky and spot any platypuses. But I highly doubt it, as we're not here during dusk or dawn, which is when they all come out. So we're currently alongside the Mersey River. Look at that, beautiful. And we've kept our eye out for some platypus, but we've not seen any as of yet. We have seen one duck, so we have seen a little bit of wildlife, the duck, but apart from that, we haven't seen much. But it is beautiful just to walk down here. It's really peaceful, and all you can hear in the background is all the wildlife. So we're going to turn back now, but it has been a really nice and peaceful trek around the Mersey River. We've just found this section here. I'm not too sure what it is for, but there's almost like a zip wire that goes all the way to the other side. I don't know whether it's something to do with maybe the wildlife needing to climb across to get to the other side of the river. I'm not too sure. Someone has to let us know down in the comment section why they've got this, or whether it's like a zip line for something. But it doesn't look like a zip line, so let me know and I'll see why, because I have no idea. Our next stop is the Liffey Waterfalls, which is a little bit off of our path which we're taking to get to Hobart. So it's about a 10-minute detour, and it's quite a busy stop too, with a little bit of parking area up here and then the overflow car parks down at the bottom. But one cool thing which we've already seen is that they actually have barbecues here. So if you did want to have a little barbie, they've got some here on the side, and then they've also got some benches that you can sit at and enjoy your food. But because we're on time constraint, we're going to make our way straight down to the waterfall, and we'll probably have lunch in the car, like we'll alternate who has their lunch. So let's get going, and should be about a 45-minute return journey to the falls and back. Similarly to the waterfall which we did when we went from Bicheno to Launceston, this one also is through the rainforest, which is really cool. Getting to see all of the wildlife, hearing all the animals and noises. And again, it reminds us a little bit of I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. However, the trek down is quite nice, but I think the trek back up is going to be a tiring one. So partway down, we have come to a viewing point of the waterfall, and I think the waterfall must be just over on the other side over there. I might be wrong, but we'll take a look at it in just a moment. But you can see the multiple tiers, so it goes off there, then it goes off the next section, and then carries on going down the stream. But this is the River Liffey, which it resides on, and as you can see, right now it is not too deep, and that's probably because we're here in the summer months. Maybe in the winter months that section over there gets covered too. But let's continue our way down and see what it looks like at the bottom, because I can imagine it looks a lot prettier. So we're just 5 minutes away now from the falls, and we've come to this sign. So if you are thinking of doing like a longer hike, there's the Lower Liffey car park and campground, which you can go to, and that takes an hour and 30 minutes to get from there to the falls. Well, an hour and 35 technically. So that's another option for you if you did want to do a longer hike. All of this going downhill though just means one thing: you've got to go all the way back up to the top. So I'm guessing the way back is going to be a lot harder and take a lot longer. And we've made it to Liffey Waterfall, which is a multi-level waterfall. As you can see, it cascades down from up there to the next section, to this section, and then down to here, and continues its path down the river. But we've already seen a couple of people on the level just up there. They're actually swimming, so there's people swimming up there, so we'll have to go up and have a quick look at it and see why people can swim up there, because I'll be a bit worried that you fall down the waterfall, but it must be a pretty nice little area to swim in. So we're now on the opposite side of the waterfall. Just look how beautiful it looks in the background, cascading down all of the rocks. I don't know how people got up to the other section up there to swim in, so we're going to give that one a miss because we've not got time to go hiking to try and find it. But it's definitely a stop that worth doing. That's worth doing. It is beautiful, and you can probably walk all the way along that rock so you can get a really good photo maybe underneath the waterfalls too. But definitely a stop worth visiting. There's actually someone that's got in and is swimming in it right now just over there. It looks like it's sort of made a little lagoon down at the bottom because of all the erosion from the waterfall. So it almost looks like a little bit of a hot tub, which is pretty cool. So maybe it is worth coming here for a swim if you've got time. I can imagine it's very refreshing and cold water too, and it's probably drinkable that it's that clean, but it is an amazing waterfall. Look at that, beautiful. So it took us 20 minutes to get down, and now we'll see how long it takes us to get back up. On the way back, I saw a sign for what was a big tree. So I went over and had a look, and it was a huge tree, 50 meters high and 3.4 meters in diameter, which is crazy. But now it is time to make our way onto the next destination, which is another viewpoint. So our next stop is Liffey Forest Lookout. And to be honest, I'm not that impressed because there's not really too much you can see because all the trees are in the way. You get small little glimpses in behind the trees of what the view would be, but you can't really see too much here, so I probably wouldn't recommend stopping here. It's just a little lay-by which you can pull off the main road, so Beth's just behind there. She's waited in the car because she noticed that the lookout wasn't that great, but hopefully our next stop will be a bit better. About a 2-minute drive from that previous lookout, there's another lay-by, and it's got much better views of the forest area. You can sort of see a lot further. You can see all the way down actually to the bottom of the valley over there, which is pretty cool. So like the previous one, you just pull off the main road onto the side of the road, and you can go and grab a quick photo / look. So definitely recommend doing this one compared to the other. So skip the first one, which is like a much bigger sort of lay-by, and pull it over into the smaller one. Shortly after the viewpoint, there was multiple other spots which you can stop at and take a look over the mountains. We're obviously not going to stop off at each one. So instead, we've made it to the Central Plateau, which actually has some of the harshest environments here in Tasmania, which is crazy. So it gets really cold here, and there's actually evidence of the ice ages from before that you can see whilst you're on this walk. So it's a bit of a crazy place, mad environment, and we are heading over now to Pine Lake, which you can see all the way over there. And I'm guessing in the winter months that lake actually freezes because it actually gets that cold up here, and the path can be really icy. I'm pretty cold right now, and it's been pretty warm at all of the other stops, so you can definitely see how the harshest environments are here. The boardwalk which we are on right now is called Pine Lake Walk, and it looks stunning. And these are called pencil pines, and as you can see, there's not much leaves on them, or not really much of anything. Everything looks dead, but they're not actually dead. They've learnt to survive with such harsh conditions of the snow and the wind that they've made themselves pencil-like, so that they can retain the moisture which they're absorbing from the ground, which is pretty cool. But it just makes it look dead, but it's a great photo opportunity for some cool pictures. So what you can see right in front of me now is Pine Lake, and this is evidence of past glaciations. So this is from years ago. So about 10,000 years ago, one of the ice ages actually ended, and the temperatures back then were about 5 to 8 degrees colder than they are right now. So if that's not global warming, then I don't know what is. But it feels so cold up here. You can see why all of the plants have had to adapt to such a cold climate. It is freezing compared to the Liffey Forest, which is only about 10 minutes down the road. So once you get to the Central Plateau, definitely get out of your car, even if you're not going to this section, just to feel the massive change in temperature. So the walk is only 10 minutes there and 10 minutes back. So it's a really easy stop, and it's quite quiet too. There's not too many people around, but this section is really eerie. It kind of reminds me a bit of The Lion King, you know, where you've got all the hyenas with all of the dead trees all the way around them, and they have their little den in the middle. But look how cool it is. It's something very unique, something you don't really ever see anywhere else. So you've got to stop off here. Our next lookout is insane. It is called the Great Lakes Lookout. Now look at that. So you can see so far in the distance over the lakes, and apparently there is a lot of wildlife that does live up here, but only the hardy wildlife, because obviously the climates are a lot worse up here. It was quite funny actually. I saw that there was a campsite. It was either a campsite or a hotel or something like that, and it was called Camp Nowhere. And I can tell you why it's called that is because right now it feels like you are in the middle of nowhere. But this lookout is definitely one to stop at. It stumps Liffey Forest by a long way. Look at that. So we're driving over the mountain and through the Central Plateau at the moment, and it is actually crazy just seeing how people can live up here. And it feels like you go back in time because everything's made of like corrugated iron and stuff, and it looks like it would be freezing to live in them too. So they must have some form of heating, or if not, they probably use like log burners or something, but they're probably very, very sustainable. And it is really flat up here too. It's one other thing which we have noticed, with just loads of lakes around, and that's about it, just lakes and trees. So what is hopefully our last viewpoint of the day is the Meina Dam Lake, or Meina Dam, I'm not too sure how you say it, but it basically separates Shannon Lake, which is over there. Then you've got the dam, which is there in the centre, and then you've got the Great Lake, which is all over there, and it is huge. We've literally just been driving around that for like 30 minutes, but it is a hydroelectric powered dam, and the first one was actually built in 1915, so it's been going for a long time, and it was to generate electricity for the nearby towns. Now the second one they built, which was after the first one, they just made it slightly bigger, was actually one of the biggest in its time, but obviously now it is a lot smaller than a lot of dams which you do see today, but they still use it to create an energy for the towns nearby. So again, very sustainable up here, because I'm guessing you have to be, because to get resources from down at the bottom, from places like Hobart, etc., it isn't that easy. And so our final stop before we hit Hobart is here, and we thought what better place to end it at than the pub. So we have made it to the pub, but with no beer. So it's a little rock which has been designed by some locals. They thought it'd be pretty funny to make this pub with no beer, and this is going to be our final stop of the trip before we do hit Hobart. However, we are getting hungry, so when we do hit Hobart, we'll actually get to the pub or to a restaurant, so do stay tuned for that. But another really cool stop to end the journey, the pub with no beer. Funny little thing that I've never seen before, so cool way to end. Now let's get back in that car and back to Hobart. And finally, after 4 to 5 hours of driving, we have arrived here in Hobart. So it was a hell of a journey, all the way from the north of Tasmania in Cradle Mountain down to the south in Hobart. But we're going to be staying in the Risdon or Risdon Brook Hotel. So I'm going to show you around our final hotel of our stay before we'll be getting our flight tomorrow. And this is what it looks like. So it's actually quite a big hotel room. So you come in, got the desk there at the front. Then this is the bed. Huge bed, I have to say. That's probably the biggest one we've had. Then the big TV, fridge. Then you've got the bathroom, which has got a sink. There I am. And then you've got the toilet and quite a nice shower, to be fair. And then you've also got, if I come through here, so somewhere to put your luggage, wardrobe space, small sofa, and you've got an outdoor bit here. Got your own little courtyard garden, but I mean, it's not the nicest courtyard gardens, to be honest, but a couple of egg chairs there if you did want to sit outside. Not great weather for it right now, though, as it has been raining. But pretty cool hotel to end it on. It's going to cost us $137 just for the one night, because we're only staying here as we're going to the airport in the morning. But we'll go out and get some food now, and hopefully it'll be a nice meal to end it on. So for our final night, we've decided to stay local and just go to the Risdon Brook Hotel Restaurant and just get some food from there. It's nice, easy to eat, and it's kind of like a beef eater Premier Inn, so nothing fancy, just sort of pub grub really. Really busy in here though, don't know why. I think everyone that's staying in this hotel must have decided to come here for the night, but they've got the cricket on in the background if you want to watch any of it. And I've ordered myself a halloumi burger, and Bess ordered herself some lemon salted tofu, which hasn't arrived because salt and pepper squid came to begin with, so they obviously misheard her. So now she's having to wait for them to go back and make her some tofu. But let's try this halloumi burger and see what we think of this. It looks really nice, to be fair. It's probably just going to be basic food, to be honest. Very juicy. Tastes all right. It's just going to be a bog standard meal, so can't really complain. The food came to $46, which isn't too bad at all, to be honest. So it's nice and cheap and cheerful. But that is going to be the end of today's vlog. So I do hope you all enjoyed, and if you did, do make sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you are new. It goes a long way to supporting the channel, and I'd appreciate it too if you left any recommendations for the videos down in the comment section below so that I can improve them. Tomorrow though, we're going to be spending New Year's in Sydney, which should be insane. I've always wanted to do it. I've seen it on TV, and now I can finally experience it in real life. The vlog should already be out because I would have brought it out on the 2nd of January or the 1st of January, around that sort of time, so go back and check that one out, and I bet it was a banger. So hopefully I'll have another vlog next week. We're in Adelaide, so I'll see you all in that one.